Hi everybody, it's Christy here from Funky Junk Inspiration, and let's do a Christmas tree, Christmas in July project. Okay, I'm going to use an IOD mold. It does tell you how much resin that you need to fill each one of the spots, but who follows direction, right? I love this casting resin. This casting resin right here, it does dry white, but it is paintable, pliable, and all that stuff, and it only takes a couple minutes to cure. So that's what I like about it, because you can make it real quick. I never got the lid off this part here. It's been a minute since I've used it, so that is entirely my fault, but we end up getting it off of there. It's basically half and half. Whatever you do of part A, you do of part B. Now I went ahead and made an extra, filled up my little things again, because I know I'm going to need more, because I'm going to use everything on this mold right here. Now I'm going to tell you, usually I use a little cup, and that makes it a lot easier than this big plastic piece here, but I'm out of cups and I didn't buy any, so there's that. So I'm just going to use what I've got right there. So see, I just mix that up. You can tell when it's ready, when it's mixed up, because it starts to get warm. I love this stuff. You can get it on Amazon. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. So I'm just making sure that I got it over into the corners. Now I haven't done this in a long time. I overfilled these. So in a little bit, you'll see I have to kind of trim the edges and stuff like that. You can kind of tap your mold or do what I'm doing there to kind of push it over. So I used too much. It was kind of rounded off and it wasn't flat on the back, but that's okay. You know what? Live and learn, right? I knew better, but that's what happened. So anyway, you can see that it's starting to cure there. It turns white. When you first take it out, it's very, very pliable. So if you're wanting to put it like on a vase or something like that, it's very nice because it's not rock hard. You can move it around. So I end up making a little bit more so I can get that other corner piece done. I did take a pause here and go grab another mold just because I knew I was going to have a little bit of extra. So I did that before I mixed all this up. So as you can see, I'm back. I brought that little mold over. It's got some little, I don't know, some little cute little pieces on there. I'm not going to use them on this project. They're just not going to waste the resin, right? Waste not, want not. See, I've got the resin going everywhere. I just used way too much, you guys. You don't have to use that much. And it's better to use a little bit less so that your pieces have a flat back, you know. They were kind of rounded up because I used a little too much. So I just tapped that in there. I'm going to set that over to the side, not a biggie. And we are just going to wait for that to get all nice and fancy and dry. Okay, so I'm going to get my board out here. Now I'm going to go through this really fast because I end up not doing this way. So I'm going to speed the video up here because you don't need to watch this because I don't end up using this background. I end up doing something different. So as you can see, I'm adding color. I do yellow, green, and red. I went ahead and left this in the video. I could have taken it out because, like I said, I ended up changing my background. But I'm just kind of dry brushing on, but making it splotchy. Originally, my first thought was I was going to crackle this background, and so I was doing this to do underneath my crackle. Then I changed my mind and decided that I didn't want to do that, that I just wanted to kind of dry brush type of look. And then I ended up changing my mind again, but you know what? That's part of life, right? So after I did this right here, I added some white paint right up there on top. And I went both direction to give it kind of a fiber look to it. And I really love this background. I just didn't think it kind of went with the molds. I just didn't I didn't care for it when I got all done. Okay, we're going to set this over to the side and let it dry. And as you can see, our molds are ready. So we're going to go ahead and pull these out. See how easy they come out? They come out real easy, nice and clean. And this has a lot of detail on it. So it didn't grab a hold of anything. But see, I was showing you that the mold was nice and clean. Now I need to go through here and clean up these edges right here. I won't bore you guys with that, getting all the little scrap flashy pieces off. Okay, so they're all better now. I got all the little extra off of there. Again, don't use as much as I did. That's the key to that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get these painted green. Now here I'm using evergreen. The other green that I was using was Kelly green. So that's what I was using. Now I'm taking this paintbrush and I'm kind of holding that down so that I can get the edges, because it seems to want to slide around on me a little bit, but that's okay. But you want to make sure that you get every single little spot, because this is really white. It's white. So it really stands out if you don't get every single little spot. Now I'm just tapping inside there to get all those little spots and stuff like that. So it works real well. Now make sure you do the sides that you're not looking at. But you know, it's not the end of the world. If you missed a spot, after you glue it on or whatever, you can paint it. Now I like to paint mine before I glue it on, because that way I can get all nasty and dirty like I am here, you know, and get in every single spot. I don't have to be careful where I don't want to touch the background or whatever I have up underneath there. Anyway, you can just kind of, you know, get your paint all over the place. I may have already just said that. But anyway, that's all I'm going to do right here is get these all nice and painted. Now I end up adding a little something extra. If you look really close at this mold, there are little balls on this tree. They're very hard to see with this dark green. And I'm going to be honest with you, with our lighting that we use so the videos look good, it's hard for, you know, us to actually see. There's just a kind of a, I don't know if you call it a glare or whatever, but they're really hard to see. So I decided that I wasn't going to mess with that. So what I did was I went back over it and got the paint wet, and I'm just going to put diamond dust on this. Now diamond dust is bits of broken glass, so please be careful. So I'm just kind of pouring that on there, and that will stick to the paint. Now what I'm going to end up doing after my project is completely done is I will clear coat everything. I clear coat the back, the whole sign. So everything will be clear coated. So if you touch it or anything like that, it'll be easy to clean. It gets dust on it or whatever. And that'll really hold that diamond dust on there. Okay. So as you can see, it's already pretty sparkly right there. Now I wasn't going to use the star because I didn't like how it ended up coming out. But what I end up doing, what you see me doing right there, is I got a little bit of green paint because it was on the back of my molds. So, and then I decided, yeah, I'd go ahead and use the star. So anyway, so I painted it yellow and put it on there. I think I like that a little bit better. Now I just take a pause for a minute here and I just kind of look at this. And I decide, you know what? I don't think I like that. I just don't think I dig that on there like that. So what I ended up doing was I painted the star. I put Venetian gold on top of the yellow. I think that helped the star quite a bit right there. It did. But I'm really not liking the background. I love the background, but I don't like it in this picture. It seems a little more rustic, and my tree and stuff seems a little more happy. So I grabbed that gingham and I thought, well, I'll use that. Then I decided, nah, I'm going to use some book pages. I've really been into book pages lately. Mod Podging them on and then kind of putting a whitewash over the top of them so you really can't see what they are and stuff. Now, I was proud of myself. I did go ahead and keep them big. I tend to start ripping the papers and I start using all the little small pieces and stuff, and it takes me forever to fill up. But I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because you guys know how to do this. Mod Podge paper. Very simple. Okay. Okay, so got all that put on there and got it all dry. Now I'm just taking that white paint that I had left over from up there. I added some water to my paintbrush, add a little bit of water to the plate too, and see, I'm just kind of whitewashing it over the top, just so that the focus isn't on what's the background, but you can still see that it's there. Hymnals would be very pretty back here. I could have printed off the Oh Christmas Tree music sheet, which would have been really cool to put in the background, but you know, time and effort right there. Just didn't have time to do that. So anyway, so there's what we've got there. So now what I'm going to do is, what I'm doing here is I'm cleaning up my edges, getting that paper off. Now I'm going to lay everything on here and see if I like that. And I do like that a lot better. Kind of makes the Christmas tree just really pop out of there. Now I'm going to use stick fast glue. I like to use the stick fast glue because it's like a super glue. It's a CA glue, but I use the thick. I highly recommend either using medium or thick. If you use the thin, it's just way too thin, and it just kind of runs and stuff like that. Doesn't give you a chance to get your stuff put on there and moved around and all that kind of fun stuff. Now this is a super glue. You get it on your fingers. It's going to be on there for a minute. It does wash off. It does take a little effort to get off, but it does come off. It's not like you're going to be permanently scarred with glue and paint on your fingers. So here I'm going to hold that down. Now I grabbed my little thing I use to get lids off with, because that is diamond dust that's on there, and so since that's glass, I didn't want to cut myself or get glass in my fingers. So now we're just going to put this fun little star up here, and I really like how this turned out a lot better. I like the background better than the original background, so pretty excited about that. You guys, this has been a fun project. Now, if y'all know me and you follow me, you know I can't do something without adding a little bit more color. So I end up taking the red paint and I go right around the edge, because we always have to frame in our project. And I decided to use the red just to add a contrasting color to the project. I thought it turned out really cute. I couldn't help myself. I could have just left it alone, but you know, can't ever leave it alone. Always gotta add more, which sometimes good and sometimes bad, right? But I do like how this project came out. And here is our final reveal. Oh, Christmas tree. I appreciate you guys all being here. And today's playlist is called Christmas in July, and it is hosted by Krista's Crafty Life and Rustic and Lace DIY. Make sure you go check them out and subscribe to their channels, and check out everybody in the playlist. I'm sure this is going to be amazing. It's going to be a big playlist. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you hit that bell, and I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and all that good stuff. And I appreciate you being here. Bye-bye.